Welcome back to the live simulcast of elections 2017. Behind every members of parliament there is a political party, and the party system in Papua New Guinea is important. It promotes stability and sustains democracy and development.
But political parties still fail to enhance women's political participation and help open up and support women in elections. Joining us tonight is a woman that has politics in her blood. She is Dulciana Somare-Brash, Strategic Policy Advisor for Pangu Party.
Dulciana has recently announced she will be running in a Father Sir Michael Somare seat, which is held for the last 49 years. But tonight she is here as the Pangu Party's Strategic Policy Advisor. Good night to you, Dulciana.
Good evening.
Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you.
Firstly, political parties are continually being challenged to focus on gender mainstreaming strategies with the aim of helping to open up support for more women in elections. Are you seeing more political parties now investing in women candidates and as party executives?
I think in quite recent times I've seen in major political parties quite minor representation. I know that in the previous government there were women who were party executives. The trend has been slower than we'd like to see. I think I sit in a position where I'm not actually an executive member of the party, I'm advisory. So I have quite a different role. And I have actually the privilege of being able to, I guess, influence the direction of the political party. So I think that's probably quite peculiar to my party as a senior strategic advisor. And I hope that through that and the visibility that I have over, I guess, the national development agenda and understanding of the economy, the importance of political and social outcomes in relation and charting our policies, I think that hopefully from that perspective we can begin to mainstream and inject more values in relation to gender equity and better representation for women.
An all-female party called Wings was recently endorsed by the Integrity of Political Parties and Candidates Commission. What is your view about an all-female political party contesting in the elections as opposed to political parties which have a mixed composition?
Well, it's an interesting shift, I think. I toyed with the idea myself. In fact, to begin with, I thought that putting up in lights the importance of women taking leadership and understanding, again, the political landscape and coming strongly from a perspective of women, I thought that was important. But I think it's also important to understand that when we put our hands up to be legislators in a democracy such as ours, that it's important that we fully representative of both male and female. So, I don't have a specific view that is either for or against. I like the notion that I'm certainly going for a very open agenda. I'm interested in reforms, structural reforms. I'm interested in economics, but also, going back to the first question, the importance of mainstreaming gender, and I hope I'll be able to bring that to the policy space inside my political party. Thank you.
Parliament is pushing for amendments to the Constitution and subsequently to the organic law on elections to introduce nomination fee increases. Statistics have shown that increasingly women have been taking part in politics ever since the first election in 1977, and over time there have been increases in the number of female candidates contesting. Would this proposed increase be an impediment to women involvement in the elections and politics generally?
Yeah, I have very strong personal views on this, so I should clarify that I don't necessarily represent the party's views on this. I think that the proposed amendments are are a little weak in its vision, in that it undermines the entire notion of democracy. That we're changing the goalposts, and we're making it inequitable for Papua New Guineans to be able to put their hands up. I mean, it's quite discriminatory when you consider, that basic minimum wages, how people live, livelihoods, the size of the population that can't access serious funds. And when you consider that you have to have 10,000 kina to even be able to qualify to start the race, I think it's highly discriminatory. I think it's intensely inappropriate at a time when we need the biggest change in our country. The biggest challenge is before us, and if we don't cast the net as wide as possible, we're going to miss out on really, really good leadership. And by proposing these discriminatory and, in my view, undemocratic amendments, I think we're hurting Papua New Guineans and we're offending the values of democracy.
Okay.
Do you think that this kind of policies will deter other young women wanting to stand in the future?
Well, it's that remains to be seen. It's I guess young females. So we were at the practice parliament promoted by UNDP today, and I was interested to see just the numbers of quite a diverse range of women, young and old, putting their hands up to contest these elections. I think it's really quite important to understand that, in my culture, for instance, we're already behind as we start the race, because there's a cultural mentality that suggests that we like him, want begin one. And I've been told that at the start of every meeting. And that while we understand that it's not necessarily a discriminatory perspective, and that it's strongly a cultural position, we also have to be able to demarcate the difference between our culture and the adopted system, governing system, that has to, will only maintain its integrity if it's understood according to the original values of those systems. So going back to your question, I think that I don't think young women are going to be deterred. I think, I guess the provisions of these amendments are dangerous when we consider the weaknesses of our institutions and other aspects that actually need focus. So if we're already allowing, important people not to be able to participate in our process of democracy, this is promoting a level of elitism that we don't need at this stage in our development. So I hope that young women are just inspired by the fact that we do have political independence, we do have certain freedoms, many freedoms. Culturally, we are discriminated against or considered, I guess, not with different competencies, I suppose. So I'm excited about young women putting their hands up and entering the fold.
Parties like National Alliance and your party, Pangu, have women party executives. Do you think gender equality should be compulsory for the party constitution?
Yeah, that's a hard question. I think when we start to interfere with the basis of the values of our original party systems, if we force culture in a certain way, we'll wind up with completely the opposite. But having said that, it's important at certain junctures in our history to encourage or to provide the incentive for a paradigm shift or shifts in our thinking. So I think to embed the idea, I like the position that I sit in because I'm able to define the direction of policy and therefore mainstream it. So for example, in agriculture, which is one of our policies, our core Up in Lights policies, we're promoting women and families on the basis of economic outcomes. So we're looking at sectoral growth policies, so in fisheries and forestry and tourism, even other related industry like construction. And we're trying to understand I'm trying to understand the importance and the roles, the productive roles of both males and females. So by mainstreaming the productive roles of females already, so, you know, do we give maternity leave to women? Do we give paternity leave to fathers in different sectors? And so I think, you know, again, going back to your question, constitutions are so important and have to be so visionary in that they apply in a timeless sense, you know, over great periods of time. But I think that, you know, to actually make specific provisions, I think that's what lower grade laws are for, and regulations and conventions and certain party traditions. I think when we, and I speak only in relation to, I guess, PNG's our mother law, constitution. We've been tampering with it way too much. We have many other opportunities to be able to influence culture, you know, and certainly through the judiciary, you know, that's a really important arm of government that we continue to forget about, that really needs to be advanced and reformed, and just building case law. When there's a breach, it should be filed. You know, instead, and we're not building the precedents. So there are certain ways of doing this. I don't think we should go straight to a constitution. I think we have to start to get mature about our policy making, but also our law making.
Okay. The Integrity of Political Parties and Candidates Commission recently revealed that 30 women will be taking part in the coming elections with party support. Is Pangu putting support behind any women taking part in these elections?
Yes, so apart from myself, the party policy is actually that we nominate 10% of the overall numbers that we're choosing to have stand in the country. So it's a core party policy that women are. So at the moment, the final selection hasn't come out yet, but on present indications, we're going to have a good stack of women.
We'll take a break now and return with more on elections 2017.